Shalom, shalom, everybody. Hi, Miriam.
Hello,
How
hello.
are you?
I'm fine.
You had a good day?
Yep.
I'll do the niceties. Hi, Baruch.
I,
You doing okay?
right.
Everything is good in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Well, we have a very, very interesting parashat tonight. And
Kitasa,
pardon?
kitas,
Kitisa.
kitisa.
Yeah, and it talks about the whole experience of the golden calf, the sin of Aaron. But I saw a theme that I'm going to be speaking about on Shabbat. And I don't know how much I'm going to bring up the theme because I want to develop it for Shabbat. But let me just share the screen, and you kids can put yourself on mute and unmute yourself when
Mata.
you yeah, if you want to say something. Okay, so here we are, Kitisa. And it begins, where's my paper? Begins in Exodus 30, chapter 11, Exodus chapter 30, verse 11, and we end at Exodus 34, verse 35. Okay. Brian, are you on mute?
This is going
I'm
on
gonna
mute now.
I'm gonna mute you. Okay, good. That's because people come into your room and it's disturbing. All right, so the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, when you take the census of the people of Israel, according to their number, then shall they give every man a ransom for his soul to the Lord. And here it says, Kofer nefesh, nafsho. Kofer is a covering, like a covering for the soul. It's always that picture of covering, like Adam's sin was covered by God. And so, but now it's going to be half a shekel. They're going to bring a ransom for the soul when you count them, so that should be no plague among them when they count them. Because basically, God told us not to count the people unless He asked us to. Only, and it was usually only when they were going to go to war, because it was um, it was related to counting. Each person was like treating lives as human property instead of belonging to God. And what was happening is that they would be proud to rely on how great their army was instead of proud about who their God was behind them. And when I hear that in Israel today, to tell you the truth, I shake in my boots because it's like we're saying we're proud of ourselves. It's a national pride and a trust in military strength instead of trusting in God. And the atonement money would redirect that act towards service in the Mishkan, the tent of meeting, and helping us to learn how to be humble. This they shall give every one who passes among those who are counted, half a shekel, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. Half a shekel shall be
Sorry,
the,
just to understand, this now is saying everyone, but or is just the men who are accounted have to give half a
yeah,
shekel?
it was the men, I think it says that a little later. It would be the men who are 20 years and over who can go into the army.
And who give the shekel here?
Right here, everyone who passes among those who are
Okay, right.
counted
Okay,
from
okay.
20 years old and above shall give an offering to the Lord. The rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less than half a shekel, which means everybody is equal in God's eyes.
But here they're still only talking about the young men, the
Yes,
army.
yes.
Okay, all right.
When they give an offering to the Lord, so that because they're going into the army, and this way they won't boast about how great the size of the army they have. It's always to remember that God's in control, to make a covering. Every time, I don't like the word atonement. And I remember when I was in the New Age, they would change it to at one mint. Remember that, Miriam? At one mint. Le caper is covering
At
from,
1 mint. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
no, actually, but makes very new agey.
very New Agey. one with ourselves and one with everyone. But in this case, everyone was equal before God, and He would be the one to cover us, like He covered Adam, like He covers all of us. And you shall take the atonement money, the money of our covering of the people of Israel, and shall appoint it for the service of the tent of meeting, that it may be a memorial to the people of Israel before the Lord, to make a covering for your souls. And the Lord spoke to Moses. So now we're going to, he's going to tell us the first thing that we need to do when he goes into the tent of meeting. You shall make a basin of bronze, and its pedestal also of bronze to wash with. And you shall put it between the tent of meeting and the altar, and put water in it. For Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet. When they go into the tent of meeting, they shall wash with water, so that they do not die. Or when they come near the altar to minister, to burn offering made by fire to the Lord. In other words, they needed to be clean. They shall wash their hands and their feet, so that they do not die. It shall be a hukat, a statute forever, a chok, forever to him and to his offspring throughout all their generations. God cares about the sanctity. It's like he's saying that there's a prescription of how we should come before him. Always clean. Like if you go to a wedding, you take a shower, you wash yourself, you put on your best. He's saying, don't don't come in any way you want. Do it according to the prescription that he's giving us. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, take also to you the best spices, myrrh, uh, pure myrrh, 500 shekels, sweet cinnamon, half so much, 250 shekels, sweet calamus, 250 shekels, and cassia, 500 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, and olive oil, and make a holy anointment from this oil, an anointment compound according to the art of the apothecary. It shall be a separate type of oil, only for a single person. It would be to anoint the priests, it would be to anoint the tent of meeting and the ark of the covenant. It's like there's going to be this covering up. Like when someone was anointed, they were called for a specific purpose. And here, the tent of meeting contained the Ark of the Covenant, and inside were the tablets. It was very special. And the table and the utensils and the lampstands, all these things inside would be set apart and made more holy than anything else. And whoever touches them shall also be separated if they touch it in the right way. God was giving us a prescribed way of doing it. And they shall, the word is timshich, like always that word Mashiach. They would anoint Aaron and his sons, and for the service, for them to minister in the office of the Kohen. Speak to the people of Israel, saying, this is going to be a holy, a kadosh, shemen kadosh. Shemen, mishchit, kadosh, a holy anointing oil to God, for God, throughout all their generations. Upon man's flesh shall it not be poured, nor shall you make any other like it. After its composition, it is holy, it shall be holy to you. And when I read this, I thought of how when we were in Christianity, and they would make this anointment, especially in that movement, the what do you call it, a charismatic movement. They would make an oil and they would pray over people and put it on them. And here it says, it shall not be placed or poured on man's flesh, nor shall you make any other like it. It is separated. It is holy for you. It was meant for that time, not for us to do in any way we want. Whoever compounds anything like it, or ever puts any of it upon a stranger, and it's not talking about the ger, it's al zar, the alien, those who are not interested in the God of Israel or anything he has to say at all. They shall be cut off from his people. And the Lord said to Moses, take sweet spices, storax, onycha, galbanum, sweet spices with pure frankincense. Make a perfume. Now, we would wonder, why would they need a perfume? And the first thing that came to my mind was the inside of the tent of meeting was all enclosed, and it would be almost like a place where animals were brought, almost like a butcher. Like you go into a butcher shop, and I don't know what it smells like in the back, but it can't be good. They're killing a lot of animals. They're going to need this perfume. So it had a spiritual application, but also a practical one. A confection according to the art of the apothecary, mixed together, pure, tahor, kadosh, separated for God, and pure oil, meaning if they burnt the oil, just like the oil for the menorah, it had to be pure and clean so that there would be no smoke. And you shall beat some of it, very tiny, tiny fragments, some of it before the testimony, meaning the ark, where the Ten Commandments would be kept, in the tent of meeting, where I will meet with you. God would meet with the Kohen Hagadol there. It shall be separated for that purpose. God wanted to meet directly with us and speak with us, not to place over us a king, but he would deal with us directly. And as for the perfume, do not make it for yourselves. It shall be holy for the Lord. Whoever shall make it shall be cut off from his people. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, now he's going to be calling people by name. See, I have called by name Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. And I have filled him, maleh, with Ruach Elohim, a spirit of God, Bechokhmah, meaning wisdom. It says Tuvuna, which is understanding. Da'at is knowledge. Ubechol malacha. Melacha comes from the word melach, which means salt or salary or workmanship. That's about working. And to devise things of skill, to work in gold and silver, in bronze. So they would be given those gifts by God. And there are many people who have gifts like that. And when you use your gifts, they just get improved. They get better and better and better. Cutting of stones and setting them. My grandfather used to make jewelry. Carving of timber to work in all kinds of melacha. And I, behold, have given him Aholiab, the son of Ahisamach, from the tribe of Dan. And in the hearts of all who are wise-hearted, I have put wisdom, that they may make all that I have commanded you. The Ochel Moed, the tent of meeting, and the ark of the testimony. It's like the ark of the covenant. And the covering that's on it, all the furniture in the tent, the table, its furnishings, the lampstand, the furniture, the altar of incense, burnt offering with all its furniture, the clothes of service, the holy garment, which we've all already been through. These were all so that Aaron and his sons could minister in the priest's office. And the anointing oil and the sweet incense for the holy place, according to all that I have commanded you, shall they do. So he was very clear. See, they did many different similar types of things, most probably, in the temples of the pagans, But God was telling them that he had to do it exactly now as he was prescribing so that their eyes would be redirected to him. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak also to the people of Israel, saying, the first thing that he's telling them, once it's all ready, keep the Shabbat. It's a sign between God and you throughout your generations that you may know that I am the Lord who set you apart. He's like saying, I am showing you that you belong to me, and I'm giving you a sign that in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and earth. It says here, keep the Shabbat. It is kadosh, holy, separated from the rest of the week. Everyone who defiles it shall surely be put to death. And the word here is mot. It's an expression, mot yimat, yumat, mot yumat. And that, hang on a second, I wrote about it here. Let me just find where it was. Mot yumat. Anyone who works on the Sabbath shall be put to death. It's a legal idiom meaning he surely shall be put to death. It's a definitive court-imposed capital punishment, not just he'll die someday. The root of mot is to die, and yumat is the passive causative form, so it does mean he will be put to death. It would be used at the Beit Din for capital offenses such as idol worship, profaning the Shabbat, murder, and certain sexual prohibitions like adultery with another man's wife, where both man and the wife shall be put to death. They give more examples, but basically, God was really, really serious because he was saying that I am giving you this day, and it is a sign of my very existence. And this was the beginning of the formation of the people, of the nation. And he was strict. You will be put to death if you don't keep the Shabbat. Today it's a little different. God isn't putting us to death, or maybe he is. I don't know, because planet's in pretty bad shape. So who knows? Maybe he is. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Shabbat of rest. Holy Kadosh LeElohim, LeAdonai, holy to God. Whoever does any work in the Sabbath day, on the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Mot yumat. Therefore the people of Israel shall keep the Shabbat, to observe it throughout their generations, as an everlasting covenant, Brit Olam. It is a sign, Othi. It is a sign between God, the people of Israel forever, that in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. We pray this every Shabbat. And a sign means something that God gives us, like he gave us the rainbow, showing us that no more would he flood the earth. So he gave us the rainbow as a sign. And here he's giving us a sign that the week is only 7 days. The seventh day is the Shabbat. And how many religions have changed that? And there is a penalty for that, which we don't even understand, the price, the cost of it. But basically what we're saying, that he is not God, that people know more than he does, and they would rather turn to their gods instead of to him. And he gave Moses, when he finished talking with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tablets of the testimony, 2 tablets containing the 10 commandments, tablets of stone, written by the finger of God. This is awesome, because there are plenty of people out there who say, oh, Moses was a smart man, a wise man. He went up and he carved it himself during the 40 days and 40 nights when he had no food and no water. You have to have more faith in something, I don't know what, than to believe that God had done this and God was keeping him during that time. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down from the mount, the people gathered themselves together to Aaron and said to him, "Get up and make us gods, which will go before us. And as for this Moses, this man who brought us out of the land of Egypt, we don't know what's happened to him." And Aaron didn't fight back. He is a peacemaker. And he said to them, "Take off the golden earrings, which are in the ears of your wives and your sons and your daughters, and bring them to me."
I'm amazed at how he didn't even utter a peep.
Nothing, not a word. But he was, maybe, I guess he was afraid.
No, no, I'm not. I get it, but I'm
Yeah,
saying
totally. I get
for
it
me,
too.
I get it because, you know, the way the world is going, I have a mezuzah on my apartment door, and it's still there, and I'm happy it's there. But we don't know that that's going to be. Who knows what awaits us? But all I'm saying is, God is so merciful. He's
Totally.
so
And
merciful.
the more we read it, the more merciful we'll see he is.
Like, look how he knows, even then he knows Aaron's heart.
Exactly.
Look
And
how
all,
far we can go. And people who say, well, we're basically good.
yeah, right, right. That's what they could believe, but it's not what the Torah says.
No, we're capable of all sorts of things.
Exactly. And these were all the people who had seen the parting of the Red Sea, who had seen the miracles of the 10 plagues of getting out of Egypt. They had witnessed this. And but
Yeah,
that shows how quickly we may see a miracle, and the next day something happens to us that's bad, and we forget everything, and we're afraid again.
yeah.
That's the nature of humanity. That's why we need him so badly. And all the people took off the golden earrings, which they were in their ears, and brought them to Aaron. And he received them from their hand and fashioned with a graving tool a molten calf. Now, I don't know if he fashioned it himself or he had someone like Bezalel or Holiav. It's possible. I don't know, but he definitely oversaw it. It says here he fashioned with a
Right.
graving tool a molten calf. And they
They
said,
said, yeah.
they said, "These are your gods, O Israel, which brought you up out of the land of Egypt." When Aaron saw it, he built an altar
Yeah,
before
I'm,
it.
I'm I'm shocked at this all the time.
Yeah. And Aaron made a proclamation and said, "Tomorrow is a feast to the Lord." And they rose up early on the next day and offered burnt offerings, brought peace offerings, and the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. I don't know how they were going to play, but I heard it wasn't pretty good. The Lord said to Moses, "Go down, for your people whom you brought out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves."
He says your people, doesn't say my people.
Ex- Your people, exactly. The Lord said, "Your people." He said to Moses,
Yeah.
"Your people whom you brought out of Egypt." That's funny. And they turned aside quickly. They have turned aside quickly from the way which I commanded them, and they've made them a molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed to it, and said, "These are your gods, O Israel." So it was more than one golden calf. And where the modern day Mount Sinai is, they have seen carvings of more than one calf in the stone.
Really? They
Yeah,
found
they
where?
found
In Egypt or in the
no
real Mount Sinai?
real Mount Sinai.
They found carvings like of cats?
Yes, in the rock.
That's shocking. Are you serious?
Yes, yes.
Wow, I want to look
Yeah.
that up. Wow.
Yeah, just look up the real Mount Sinai. "These
Wow.
are your gods, O Israel, which you have brought out of the land of which have brought you out Those are the gods. Imagine that they brought the people out of Egypt. And the Lord said to Moses, you know what? The more I see how we are these days and how we can't see how we've been repeating this and how so many of the terrible things that have happened to us are from our own behavior, from our own choices. The Torah is so clear, it doesn't mask or hide the truth. The Lord said to Moses, I've seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. And let me tell you, I know what it feels like to have a stiff neck. Now, therefore, leave me alone, that my anger may burn hot against them, that I may annihilate them, consume them, and I will make of you a great nation. He'll make another nation from Moses. But Moses pleaded with the Lord, his God, and said, Lord, why does your anger burn hot against your people whom you have brought out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Therefore, why should the Egyptians say, for evil intent did he bring them out, to kill them in the mountain, to annihilate them from the face of the earth? Turn from your fierce anger and change your mind about this evil against your people. Remember your servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, to whom you swore by your own name, and said to them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I've spoken of will I give to your offspring. They shall inherit it forever. And that still has to come. We will inherit it. And the Lord repented of the evil which he thought to do to his people. And Moses turned and went down from the mountain with the 2 tablets of testimony in his hand. The tablets were written on both their sides. On the one side and on the other were they written. We always see it only on the one side, but it was on the back and the front of the 2 tablets. And the tablets were the work of God, and the writing was the writing of God, engraved upon the tablets. No wonder people want to get rid of the Torah, because they don't want to have to believe this. When Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said to Moses, there is a sound like war in the camp. And he said, it's not the voice of those who shout for mastery, like who are in control, nor is it the voice of those who cry for being overcome, but the sound of those who sing am I hearing. And it came to pass, as soon as he came near the camp, that he saw the camp and the dancing. And Moses' anger burned hot, and he threw the tablets from his hand and smashed them beneath the mountain. And he took the calf which they had made and burned it in the fire and ground it to powder and scattered it upon the water and made the people of Israel drink it. What a bitter, bitter experience. And Moses said to Aaron, what did this people do to you that you have brought so great a chata'ah, a sin, upon them? You are guilty, Aaron. And Aaron says, don't be upset, my Lord. Don't get angry with me. You know the people. They're all set on doing wrong. They said to me, make us gods, which shall go before us, because this Moses, the man who brought us out of the land of Egypt, we don't know what's happened to him. And I said, whoever has gold, let them break it off. And they gave it to me. I cast it into the fire, and woof, out came this calf. Doesn't matter how many times we hear that.
There
It's
goes the
hilarious.
most famous line in the whole time.
I'm telling you, poof,
It's
up.
always passing the buck.
It's
In
unbelievable.
everything even in my trying to make arrangements about Philip, this one says do that, and I do that, and that one says, no, that person has to do it. They're all passing the buck.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this is the historical passing the buck.
I know it's always blaming someone else. It happened with Adam, it happened with Eve. Adam covered them, and he's gonna cover Aaron.
But it's
And
so funny. And there came out this calf.
yeah, out jumped the calf. It's a riot. And when
All your
Moses,
family came to the service, Miriam.
Sorry?
All your family came to the service.
for Philip, no, it was just her and David.
You mean to the graveside? Yeah, no, it was just yeah, it was just me,
Yeah.
David, and Elaine, his wife.
Yeah. Brian,
What
can
did
we
you do
discuss
this too?
Brian, can we discuss that later, another time? And let's continue because it's a long passage. Thank you. And when Moses saw that the people were naked, they were it's funny because the nakedness of Adam was was very different. His nakedness was because shame had not entered the world yet. Here, for Aaron had made them naked to their shame among their enemies. This was a guilt, a nakedness of shame, because they when Adam recognized his nakedness, he tried to cover it up himself, and he felt shame, and he also couldn't admit what he had done. And it happens to so many of us who are caught in something that we've done, that we've tried to hide. There's nowhere to hide from God. Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, "Who is on the Lord's side? Let him come to me." And all the Levites gathered themselves together to him. And he said to them, "Thus says the Lord God of Israel, take every man his sword by his side and go in and out from the gate to gate throughout the camp and slay every man his brother, someone from his own family. Every man, it says, the one who is kirbo, close to him, and every man his neighbor." And the Levites did according to the word of Moses. And there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men. And that wasn't all that fell. You know, when we see our people falling today, not only in Israel, but around the world, we have to question, God, what are we doing? We always blame God. Where were you? But the Torah is so clear, and it's hard to blame ourselves. And, we have to really humble ourselves. If my people will humble themselves and call my name, I will heal their land. I will forgive their sins. For Moses it said, "Consecrate yourselves today to the Lord, every man against his son and against his brother, that he may bestow upon you a blessing this day." And it came to pass on the next day that Moses said to the people, "You have sinned a great sin. But now I'm going to go up to the Lord again, and perhaps I can still make a covering for your sin." And Moses returned to the Lord, and he said, "Oh, this people have sinned a great sin and have made gods of gold." So it wasn't only one God, there were gods of gold. Yet now, if you will forgive their sins, and if not, blot me, I beg you, from your book which you have written. And the Lord said to Moses, "Whoever has sinned against me, he's the one I'm going to blot from my book. I don't need you to sacrifice your life. Each person is responsible
And
for
you
their
don't
own."
see any blood about him forgiving the sin of this golden calf.
Exactly.
Moses pleads for them, but there's no blood.
That's why all these later religions have had to get rid of the Torah. It doesn't matter whether it's Christianity or Islam or any pagan religions, any New Agey, they're all the same. God is so clear. When we change the Torah, we change everything. Therefore, now go, lead the people to the place about which I've spoken to you. And behold, it says here, my angel, but to me, That is an interpretation because the word is malach. Malach is a messenger. It can be an angel, but he's saying, my messenger shall go before you. And we already read this before. The messenger is Moses. He's going to be leading our people in the next 40 years through the desert.
Just one thing though, but when it says, therefore go, he's talking to Moses, lead the people to the place about da da da.
Yeah.
Behold my angel. So if he's talking to Moses, he's saying, you're my angel?
Well,
I
he's
mean,
talking to all of us.
okay.
He's not just talking to Moses. And it could also be Joshua.
Or it could be an angel. No?
Or it could be an angel. Yes. My angel.
Whatever. It's
Yeah.
a message.
But it's used in Christianity to be the pre-incarnate
Yeah,
Jesus.
no, I hear what you're saying.
That's what
Right,
I'm
right.
saying.
But it could be an actual I mean an
Yes,
angel or
it could be.
a messenger. Yes, it's
Yeah,
true.
because malach is an angel or a messenger.
Right.
And then the Lord sent a plague among the people because they made the golden calf. How many illnesses hit us because of the idolatry that we have, and we don't realize that that's where it's coming from. The plagues that are hitting the world because of all the idolatry that's going on in the world today. And the Lord spoke to Moses, get up and go, you and the people whom you have brought out of the land of Egypt, to the land which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And to your seed will I give it. And I will send an angel before you, and I will drive out the Canaanite, the Amorite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite to a land flowing with milk and honey. But I'm not going up in the midst of you, for you are a stiff-necked people, lest I consume you in the way, because God is pure light and their behavior was dark. And he would break out just like he did when the two sons of Aaron later on will do offer Eish Zara. Remember, Zar was an alien, and God had nothing to do with that, and they were fulminated. And when the people heard this evil news, they cried, they mourned, and no man put on his ornaments. For the Lord had said to Moses, tell the people of Israel, you are keshech oref. You are a stiff-necked people. And I will come up into the midst of you in a moment and consume you. Therefore, take off your ornaments, and that I may know what to do to you. And the people of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments by Mount Horeb, which is Sinai. And Moses took the tent and pitched it outside the camp, far away from the camp, and called it the Ochel Moed, the tent of meeting. And it came to pass that everyone who sought the Lord went out of the camp to the tent of meeting. And it came to pass when Moses went out to the tent that all the people rose up and stood every man at his tent door and watched after Moses until he had gone into the tent. And it came to pass as Moses entered into the tent, the pillar of cloud descended and stood at the door of the tent. And the Lord spoke with Moses. And all the people saw the pillar of cloud standing at the tent door. And all the people rose up and ishtachaveh, bowed low before God, every man at his tent door. And the Lord spoke to Moses face to face, panim al panim, as a man speaks to his friend. And he turned again into the camp. But his servant Joshua, the son of Nun, a young man, a lad, did not depart from the tent. It's interesting because Joshua was up on the mountain with him. Joshua's here in the tent, quietly, listening, watching, waiting. And Moses said to the Lord, see, you say to me, bring up this people, and you have not let me know whom you will send with me. Well, I think he just had a picture of it, Joshua, but he didn't see. He couldn't see who was going to follow him. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and have also found grace in my sight. So I beg you, if I have found grace in your sight, show me now your way, that I may know you, that I may find chesed, mercy, grace in your sight, and consider that this nation is your people. And he said, my presence shall go with you, and I will give you rest. And he said to him, if your presence does not go with me, don't take us from here, don't carry us. For where shall it be known here that I and your people have found grace in your sight? How am I going to know? Is it not in you, in that you go with us, that we are distinct? I and your people from all the people that are upon the face of the earth. This is a really important passage. How will we know? How will the world know that I, Moses, and your people, Israel, have found grace in your sight? Is it not what makes us distinct, I and your people, is that you go with us. That's what makes us distinct from all the people on the face of the earth, that the God of Israel goes with us. And that's what we're seeing happening today, this very day on which we celebrated Purim, that God is with us. And the Lord said to Moses, I will do this thing also that you have spoken, for you have found grace in my sight, and I know you by name. He knows each of us by name. Baruch, he knows you by name. Your name means blessed. Miriam, you're the prophetess, the sister of Moses. I know you by name. And me, Golda Pesha, golden pearl, he knows me by name. And he said, I beg you, show me your kavod, your glory. And God said, I will make all my goodness pass in front of you. I will show you all the things that are in your future. And I will proclaim the name of the Lord before you. And will be gracious to whom I will be gracious. And I will show mercy to whom I will show mercy. He's the one who chooses, not us. We don't know the mind of God. So he chooses to whom he is gracious. And he said, you cannot see my face, for no man shall see me and live. We can't look upon God. He's an entity that is pure light. But the Lord said, behold, there is a place by me. Stand beside the rock. And when my glory passes, I will put you in the cleft of the rock and cover you, protect you with my hand. And I will take away my hand, and you shall see my back. You will know what has truly happened in the past, but my face shall not be seen. And the Lord said to Moses, cut. This time he had to cut the 2 tablets of stone like the first. And I will write upon these tablets the words that were in the first tablets, which you broke. The thing that I thought about this was that it wasn't what was on this second set of tablets that it changed. It's like people say now, we have the Torah, the Old Testament, which is gone, and then we have the New Testament, which is new, replaces the old. But here, the tablets were what was new, that Moses had to work for. But what was on it was exactly the same. So when people change something in the New Testament, they're changing these words. They're changing what was written by the hand of God on the tablets. The only thing that changed was a renewal of the covenant, but it was written. It reminded me a little bit about how the garden was the same, Garden of Eden, that Adam was kicked out of. He had to work the land, but it would be blessed. It would have been easy. The second time, When he was kicked out of the garden, now he would really have to work hard to make the land bring forth. Very similar idea. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Is it clear?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Well, it was like something broke when with our first major disobedience in the
Exactly.
garden, and now it's like in last week when Mauricio was saying
About the
we're
rupture.
going we're searching constantly. We're going back to the Garden of Eden,
Yes,
and God gives us that chance in having a relationship with Him.
exactly.
You
It's
know?
beautiful. These pictures are so marvelous. They're beautiful pictures
Yeah,
that
yeah.
are repeated over and over and over. Be
And it's
ready. Yeah,
well, I just want to say
yeah.
also, I can understand why, um, who was it? Anyway, why some people had made an idol out of Moses, because
Yes,
he really had a unique relationship with God.
yes,
And when they spoke, I mean, it almost sets him apart. Well, almost like very much like Yeshua. Like he
exactly.
was called. It's not like, okay, many people were called to be prophets, etc., but his role was exceptional. And what's the group that made Arthapanes or Oxapanes who made they thought Moses was God?
Exactly. In the book called Moses Redivivus.
Right, okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's why we don't know where he's buried, because they would be running to his grave like they run the Hasidim run to certain graves where their exalted rabbis, their holy rabbis are buried, and they believe that there's emanations coming from the graves. I mean, this is idolatry.
Yeah,
We're not to have any other gods. They did the same thing with our Rabbi Yeshua, who just wanted us to come back to these commandments. He didn't write any new books. He didn't bring any new laws. He came to explain, to bring us back. And it was other people who turned it into a new testament, so to speak, which is it's not a will and testament. They changed the words. They changed what was on the tablets in the second one instead of rewriting the new one. But Yeshua didn't do that. He always brought us back. So whatever the Torah has to be our foundation, and the Ten Commandments is the foundation of the Torah. But this, if anything written later does not agree with these words, we have to question it. And most people who do stand alone.
yeah.
Be ready in the morning. Come up in the morning to Mount Sinai. Present yourself there to me on the top of the mount, and no man shall come up with you, nor let any man be seen throughout all the mountain. Don't let flocks or herds feed before the mountain. So Moses cut 2 tablets of stone, like the first. And he rose early in the morning and went up Mount Sinai, as the Lord had commanded him. And he took in his hand the 2 tablets of stone. The Lord descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of the Lord. He proclaimed his name, Yehovah, Yud He Vav He. He spoke it loud and clear. And the Lord passed by before him and proclaimed, the Lord God, merciful, gracious. Here it says, Al Paniv, he passed before him, Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum, like Rachem is merciful, Chanun, long suffering, and abundant in goodness, chesed, ve'emet, and truth, in
So
mercy.
different for how some people portray the Old Testament as having a fierce, violent, unloving God.
Exactly.
It's
They
only
made it
really,
up
yeah, it's not true at all.
at all. And he keeps mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin. And this is what it says in the commandment. I think it's the second commandment, forgiving iniquity, transgression, and sin. And that will by no means clear them of guilt, but he visits the iniquity, the sins of the father, upon the children and on the children's children to the third and fourth generation, which means a limited time, but gives mercy to the thousandth generation of those who love him. This is what all this is talking about, the commandments. Moses hurried and bowed his head toward the earth, and yishtachaveh, he bowed low before God. And he said, if now I have found chen, mercy, in your sight, O Lord, let my God, I beseech you, go among us, for it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for your inheritance. And he said, behold, I make a covenant. Before all your people, I will do marvels, such as not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among you shall see the work of the Lord, for it is an awesome thing that I will do with you. He hasn't only done this once, but he's done it from generation to generation. He just did it at Purim when he did marvels and sent in the armies into Iran and is breaking down that evil regime that has kept people captive, not only there, but around the world. Observe what I command you this day. Behold, I drive out before you the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Hivite. These were pagan nations that horrible, horrible practice and customs. And he's telling us, be careful. Do not make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land where you're going, because they will be a snare for you. Destroy their altars, break down their images, cut down their asherim, their totem poles, all their altars, their idols. You shall worship no other God. For the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. Do not make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, for they go to play the harlot after their gods and sacrifice to their gods. That's what they just had done at the base of Mount Sinai, which caused Moses to break the tablets. And one calls you, and you eat of his sacrifice, and you take from their daughters to your sons, and their daughters go to play the harlot after their gods, and make your sons go to play the harlot after their gods. How many intermarriages are there like that, where they don't want to become part of our people, part of our God, but they take our sons to their gods? Do not make for yourself any graven images. This is another commandment. And now he's going to one of the Shalosh Regalim, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which we will have in a month from now. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. The leaven describes pride. He's talking about us getting rid of pride. As I commanded you in the month of Aviv, in the spring, the new year, for in the month of Aviv you came out of Egypt. All that opens the matrix is mine. The first fruit, the firstborn is mine. Every firstling among your cattle, whether ox or sheep, that is male. The firstling of a donkey you shall redeem with a lamb. And if you don't redeem him, then you shall break his neck. All the firstborn of your sons you shall redeem, the pidyon haben. No one shall appear before me empty-handed. When we go into our congregation, when we stand, we used to have a place, but right now we're on Zoom. When we go before God, if we appear empty-handed, we may as well say, I don't believe in you, God, because I'm not obeying your covenant. 6 days shall you work. And here again, the Shabbat is so important. Fourth commandment, the seventh day to rest, because on the seventh day we had to trust him. No more plowing, no more harvesting. Don't work that day. God will provide enough for you during the week that you can have you'll be able to rest that day. Observe Shavuot, the first fruits of the week, and Sukkot. Those are the Shalosh Regalim, where 3 times in a year shall all your males appear before the Lord God of Israel. I will cast out the nations before you and enlarge your borders. Every time we have tried in the past, even in the recent past, because we had the Golan Heights, which we cannot give back. We've now taken Judea and Samaria back. We had the Sinai Desert, ended up giving it back. But all that, it's going to be a huge area. Nor shall any man desire your land when you shall go up to appear before the Lord your God 3 times in a year. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with yeast. Don't come to me with your pride. Nor shall the sacrifice of the feast of Pesach be left to the morning. The first of the first fruits of your land you shall bring to the house of the Lord your God. You shall not boil a kid in its mother's milk. This is what they call mnemonics. It was a way of remembering that the first fruits were not to be offered to idols, to God. This was a pagan practice, but the first fruits would be to bring our people back to God, to honor God with a portion of what he's given us. And the Lord said to Moses, write these words, for according to these words, I have made a covenant with you and with Israel. So he was writing what? The 10 Commandments. He didn't have the whole Torah on the 2 tablets of stone. It was the words, the sentences, the 10 Commandments that were written on the front and the back of the 2 tablets. He was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He neither ate bread nor did he drink water. We cannot last without water. Maybe we can last for 2 weeks, the most, if not less. He didn't eat anything. That we could last. He wrote upon the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. That's our covenant. That's our constitution. That's the plumb line for us to know how to live. And it came to pass when Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the testimony in Moses' hand, when he came down from the mount, Moses did not know that the skin of his face shone while he talked with him. And when Aaron and all the people of Israel saw Moses, behold, the skin of his face was shining, and they were afraid to come closer to him. First, they were afraid to listen to God's voice. They say, Moses, you speak to him and then you tell us. Now they don't even want to look at Moses. And Moses called to them, and Aaron and all the rulers of the congregation returned to him, and Moses talked with them. And afterward, all the people of Israel came near, and he gave them in command all that the Lord had spoken with him in Mount Sinai. When Moses had finished speaking with him, he put a veil on his face. And when Moses went in before the Lord to speak with him, he took off the veil until he came out. And he came out and spoke to the people of Israel all that he was commanded. And the people of Israel saw the face of Moses, that the skin of Moses' face shone. And Moses put the veil on his face again until he went in to speak with him. And yeah, that's double. How fabulous. What a fabulous. I love these portions. They're so rich. And when I want to try to develop an idea that came to me while I'm reading what I'm reading about this is how everything is about God and his bride. And the Shabbat is when there's so many pictures here that I didn't even begin to develop, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to do that for Shabbat. So tune in to the next stage. Is this marvelous? Yes, Brian.
You read the finger of God, but then they use fire on the effect in the Ten Commandments.
What do you mean? He didn't use a fire?
The movie
Oh,
shows
yeah, we're
God.
not talking about the movie. I know in the movie they did that. In the movie, his finger with fire, yeah, wrote in the tablets. Well, maybe he did it that way. I don't know how he did it. It's possible. You're
Oh,
on
he
mute.
had a
You're on
strong
mute,
nail.
Miriam.
He could scratch a good scratch with his
Well,
nail.
I mean, it's just, it doesn't mean in the Ten Commandments that God didn't write it, but God is not like a human, and maybe it looked like fire when he etched it on the stone.
Yeah, it's
It's as
possible.
long as it's known that it came from God.
Exactly. Isn't it amazing
Yeah,
that we little humble people here have been introduced to this marvelous God? I was telling Baruch that he knows more about the Torah than anybody in Maimonides.
yeah, it's true, Brian.
You were the least among them, and now you're the greatest. So when you're the greatest and the best, you have mercy on others and kindness to others. And that's what we need to learn, is how to be kind and merciful like our God. He's a God of compassion. And you're right, Miriam. They talk about how, the God of the New Testament is a God of mercy and kindness and turn the other cheek. And the God of the Old Testament is this old guy with a beard who's looking to point a finger and blame you for everything. It's so
Well, I
ridiculous.
mean, look at what happened to like the sons of Aaron, but offered an unholy fire. Remember the two who were the two followers who were burnt to a crisp because they did things their own way. Remember they were struck dead. I mean,
Where?
in
Nadab and Abihu, the two
no,
sons
no,
of
I'm
Aaron?
talking about in the New Testament. They always say God is a lover. It's the same God.
Oh,
And
yeah.
people were remember they were disobedient and they wanted to take something on themselves. It reminds me of the Aish, what's the
Zara.
yeah, that
Yeah.
and people were shocked, but they
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
died.
So it's like Yeshua said, let your light shine among men. Don't put your light under a bushel. Be light. Don't be heavy. Be light and reflect his light to others. He says, let your light shine among men so that he may see your good works, your good deeds, and glorify God in heaven. And one of the things that you do there, Brian, is you help people. People talk about, they really like you, which is wonderful. Miriam was there helping Millie today. She's there. We're there helping you when we can. We need to love our neighbor as we love ourselves and learn how to be kind and forgive ourselves. Love ourselves first. Remember when Yeshua was asked, how do you sum up the Ten Commandments? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, which means your mind, your thoughts, your soul, which means your emotions, and with all your resources, everything that He's provided, and love your neighbor as yourself. So God has given us neighbors wherever we are. We need to learn to love ourselves first so that we can love them. And we will fail. We fail all the time. But God is merciful to us and He lifts us up and He helps us start again when we go to Him and we ask
Toby
Him for
likes
help.
this.
Pardon?
Toby likes this. He says that I know everything.
I know already. Exactly.
What? I didn't hear that.
That's
Toby
Toby.
says I know everything.
Toby says he knows everything.
Who's Toby?
Toby's at the Maimonides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining with me tonight. I think it was wonderful.
It was
I,
very nice.
it's exciting. I just love it. Welling. Bye.
Friday. You'll be here on
I'll
Friday.
see you on Friday, Brian.